We'll get into all of that in the next few weeks as it is a marathon, not a sprint. But Crevonte, you ready to get goofy, brother, and get out of here?
Hey, come on, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
It's time for Crevante's Goofies of the Week.
Yeah, gosh, something wrong here.
Well, now that's goofy.
Yeah, man. Welcome, good people, to Goofies of the Week, sponsored by the Flex Zone. Appreciate you guys for giving me a little bit of time to let me tell the good people what I thought was goofy this week. Y'all know my two levels of goofiness that we typically deal with. We have a low level goofy where we laugh at it, we joke, we kiki about it, and in the hopes that it does not become a higher level goofy, which is that high level goofy of goofiness, where we have to congregate, we have to talk about it, we have to figure out why things have gone this far and why this event, person, or thing extremely goofy. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to combine these goofies because they were two separate events, but I'm going to put them together as one football goofy. And it's going to surround the AFC Championship games, AFC Championship Sunday. Um, and I guess I don't even want to end on the Ravens, so I'm going to talk about them first. Um, and of course the game came on first anyway. Um, but my goofies are surrounding the way that these the two teams that lost. Um, Number one, the Ravens. The Ravens were number one. Uh, home field, home field advantage. Um, the championship, the Super Bowl, had to come through Baltimore, which is what you want. Um, we have been saying all year, Lamar Jackson has to make it to the AFC Championship at least. But when you get to the AFC Championship and you have the better team, you got to find a way to make it happen. Now, granted, it's a tribal chief. Tribal chief lives in the AFC Championship. So that's never an easy feat. But as dominant as the Ravens have been all year, they did not play that well. They didn't. They did not. For them to have six running back rushes the whole game is absolutely absurd, coming from being the number one rushing attack team, the number one rush attempted team all year, and for them to throw their playbook completely out. Now the gang, what up? For them to throw their playbook and what they've been doing all year completely out is absolutely absurd. John Harbaugh, John Harbaugh should be on the hook. Todd Monken should be on the hook, and also Lamar Jackson should be on the hook. His instincts were not there. I don't know. It looks like he was trying to be Patrick Mahomes, and I think that's the goofiest thing. I think that's the goofiest thing that you could do in that situation because all the way up until that game, you play like Lamar Jackson. You're 9.5 times out of 10, you're going to be a two-time MVP in the coming weeks. And you did not play like it. You played the exact opposite of it. You played like the exact opposite. The Ravens needed you, but the city of Baltimore needed you, and you played like you never been there before. And that's very, very disappointing. But you're not the only one that gets blamed. Now, obviously, the quarterback gets too much praise when they win and too much uh too much blame when they lose. But John Harbaugh, Todd Monken, they have been doing pretty well with making adjustments, especially in that Texans game. But doesn't look like they made any. And Lamar Jackson dropping back 37 times. I think Mark had said it earlier. That's like 2 games worth of stats for a player like Lamar Jackson, who is very, very dynamic, using his arm and his legs. He looked pedestrian, dare I say, um, in the AFC Championship game, and that is just not enough. And everything lined up. You got everything you wanted. Now it was Patrick Mahomes and them, but at your house, that's all you can ask for. But again, Patrick Mahomes lives in the AFC Championship. He lives, breathes, sleeps, all that. So I guess Patrick Mahomes reminded us of that. But the Ravens taking an excruciating L against the Tribal Chief. Now, moving on to the 6:30 game, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions in the first half played like they had something to prove. The whole city of Detroit was standing firm. They were standing on business all week. The fans showed up at the game. They were at Ford Field rocking, watching it on the Jumbotron, I'm sure. Rocking. As if the game was there. Eminem was in the crowd, and Detroit was everywhere. It's like, yo, Detroit felt like they legit got a shot. Oh, and Byron, I believe the Wizards and the Pistons played, and they found time to chant Jared Goff, because both teams suck. Because the Pistons and the Wizards both suck. So the Detroit fans was like, Jared Goff, and I'm just like, that's crazy. Like they're all behind this team, and it's been so long that this team has been relevant. It's been over 30 years since they last been to an NFC Championship, losing to my Redskins at the time. Neither here nor there. It's been 30 plus years, and for them to be back here, it was something to be celebrated. Like, Detroit Lions football is back. And the first half, man, it looked like them Bulls going to the Super Bowl. It looked like them Bulls was going to the chip. They was going to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And the first half happened. They jumped on the 49ers. And it's like right before they was about to stick their foot on their necks, they let off the gas. Stop running the football. Coach Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down. Like four or five times. And half of them was just unnecessary, especially when you're on your side of the field. Kick the field goal. You're not on the East Coast. It's fair weather. It's nice. It's no wind. Kick the field goal. You're up 2 touchdowns. Go up 17 points. Make this go from a 2-possession game to a 3-possession game. But no, Dan Campbell was going for the jugular, which we know him to do. We all remember he's Mr. Bite Kneecaps. And his aggressiveness turned to recklessness, and that's when momentum shifted. As soon as I forgot which fourth down in particular it was, but they missed it on fourth down. 49ers got it, scored. Lions got it back, turnover. 49ers score again. Boom. Deficit erased it. It has been erased. And once they get that close, it's like, oh man, they walked them down. The Lions had it, and that third quarter happened, and the 49ers offense turned into the Golden State Warriors offense in that run when they went to the championship 5 times in a row and was beating up on LeBron and all that. They look like the Warriors in that third quarter. I mean, the 49ers look like the Warriors in that third quarter. Like, just completely blitzed them and scoring in bunches, got very explosive. And the Lions look like a deer in headlights. They look like they haven't been there before. You see the things in common that I'm saying. The Ravens have not been there. The Lions had not been there, and they showed. It's like they flinched. And the opposing team that has been there took their necessary steps, their necessary adjustments, and did what they had to do to pull off the victory. Not against that he hated doing that to Detroit. I hated watching it because Detroit, man, oh man, Detroit was fighting, and they looked really good in that first half, but gotta play 4 quarters. And this Lions team is here. It'll be here, but we will take that offensive coordinator from you. As a Commanders fan, we're going to take the offensive coordinator from you. Good luck fixing the offense because losing Ben Johnson is going to hurt. Ask the Eagles what happens when you lose when you lose your offensive coordinator. But the team is really young, and the team still has a lot of potential. So the Lions will be competing in the North, which is something that we haven't said much before this year, Byron. They'll be competing in the North. And it's going to be fun to watch going forward. But the second half, the Lions turned into pumpkins. But it's all good. They will be relevant moving forward, which is all good. But those are my goofies of this week. Unfortunately, the loss to the Baltimore Ravens and the loss to the Detroit Lions. Brothers got to do better. And y'all know my line. There's a thin line between goofy and great. And both organizations, Detroit Lions and Baltimore Ravens, on the wrong end of it. Got to do better, guys.
Yeah, of course. Something wrong here.
Well, now that's goofy.
Thank you, Crevonte, for those goofies of the week. Niner gang, I see you in the chat, brother. We're gonna have some Super Bowl content leading up to the game. Hopefully, you guys can eventually dethrone the Tribal Chief rematch of 2019 Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens.
The 49ers have been on the cusp